Here coming to you from Portland here on a trip right now. If you
At a
haven't,
tiny house.
we're in a tiny house right now.
Uh-huh.
And if you haven't met us, we are the Freemans, authors, speakers, social entrepreneurs, and we prepare people for marriage. And we also call ourselves ambassadors for partnerships thriving physically, financially, and spiritually. We really believe to our core that people can be thriving in all three of those areas. And we're doing 30 days of conscious partnership, and today's topic is
You cannot use logic to get someone in balance and emotional state. Now, that was a lot to say. But I want to put you into a situation. Have you ever been in a place where you were going to sit on vacation or you were going to another city, whether it was for work or to see family, for instance, and one of you was in charge of getting and booking the tickets and the place to stay, right? And then it comes to a point where one partner says to another, did you book the tickets in the hotel yet? In which the other partner over here responds, no, I didn't. And then what usually happens? One partner, it's possible they get upset. Why haven't you booked the tickets yet? You know, like I said 2 weeks ago that we were set, we had the dates, you could have done it, why is it not done? You can see this emotional state starts to be created, right? And like we talked about previously, it is something to put your awareness to not be triggered or set off by the emotional state of your partner, but it's so easy to get there, right? So one partner is saying, why don't you do this or that? Now, I'm just going to say, I'm defensive. And I say, look, logically, ticket prices are best to book, let's say 3 weeks from when you're setting out, or I had checked with the hotel and it was better that I waited for such and such a date because they would have an opening. Whatever it might be, right? There's like logic, like timing to booking the tickets. And what I want to say, has that ever really made that much of a difference? Mm-mm. To use logic in a time when an emotional state has been triggered or there is a decrease in the energy and a change in emotional state, logic is not going to work.
And you know those times. Apply it to a scenario you've been through recently when it makes it more frustrating. You're like, okay, I know you're bringing up the facts, but you're making me more frustrated or more hurt or more sad. And it's really interesting because we have found that it's really first important to have an opportunity to move that energy. That the person that's upset or hurt or sad or frustrated, they can't be with the facts and be okay with it until they've been able to move the energy. So being able to vocalize it. And that's where it's on the part of the person who's upset to calmly, or in whatever way is most effective, to say, okay, I'm experiencing sadness or I'm experiencing being hurt. I feel like you didn't care that much. I feel like your actions mean that this trip isn't important to you. And you can't argue with a feeling. You might try, but it only makes it worse. So what we can do for our partner who's experiencing that emotional state is say, I get it. I get that you feel upset. I feel that. I feel that you're upset. To acknowledge the feeling. Why would we try to out-logic someone's emotional state? They can't be with the facts until they've circulated that energy, they've felt heard. And then what often happens is after we've vocalized how we feel and the person has received it, not taken it personally, then it's like, okay, now let's go over those, facts you were talking about.
And the reason why this doesn't work is because logic and emotion live in two different worlds. They're totally separate worlds. So the best analogy I could come up with from Jocelyn is oil and water, right? You can put oil inside of a cup, inside of a glass of water, try to mix it up. It just doesn't mix, right? Why? Because they're two different, they're densities and viscosities, but they live in two different worlds in that realm. So logic comes from a place of the brain, the mind, thought patterns, using the mind to logic your way into a set of actions to produce results. But emotions does not live in the mind. The emotional state is not in the brain. That comes from our physiology. That comes from our nervous system. That comes from what we feel. And so you cannot say, I'm going to use something up here to make any difference for myself or my partner that's happening inside of me, that's happening in my physiology, that's happening as an experience. So 2 things to start to look at is, one is to notice these places, to notice when an emotional state is coming up, to say, one, what am I experiencing? My physical body is starting to experience like frustration and tension or anger up in here. And to notice that that's happening physiology in your physical. And the best thing to do is to notice that you are not that. Mm-hmm. So something happened and triggered these feelings, but who you are is the consciousness, the one that is observing the feelings and experiences that are happening in your physical.
And really going deeper into this, given that you are watching Conscious Partnership, which is taking your partnership to next level transformation together. Not just about being together, having fun, but truly learning, diving deep into ourselves, is why are you having that emotional state come up? To go into what are the beliefs behind that emotional state. And so after you've had that movement, right, you can't address this sometimes right in the heat of the emotion. So when someone's frustrated, sad, hurt, first letting them move that. Maybe they need to walk. Maybe they need to dance. Aaron and I will sometimes do this thing of like, we'll make a really funny face at each other. And you can't help but laugh. We'll just be like,
I'm so mad. Why did you not buy these tickets?
And it helps break up the energy. So before you can get into a conversation, oftentimes, maybe not all the time, but oftentimes first you need to have a release. Again, walk, make a funny face, dance, put on music. After that, you can dive into, okay, what do I believe that is causing that emotional reaction? Because it's probably a trend. When there's a time when we say to ourselves, that action means he or she doesn't care, it stimulates a reaction, that chemistry that Aaron was talking about. And so you can do that deeper work together as to, why did I have that sort of a reaction? What is the fundamental belief that I have that has that emotional state come up?
Just to re-emphasize, so how you are going to make a difference in something that you are feeling, something that's physiological, is to do something. The way you change your state is to get into motion. Emotion comes from motion. So what you can do is, like Jocelyn said, you want to start to move. I mean, yes, you can go for a walk, but if you want to change your state like this, do something like I was talking about yesterday, radically changes your physical, like to extend yourself, to put your arms up in the air, to get your feet off the ground, to just smile even though you're mad. Like make a radical you make a radical change, and as you can see, we can't help but laugh right now, right? So
and it works even when you're really angry. It works pretty well.
So you can change your emotional state like this, but you have to realize where it's coming from and the things that's actually going to have it change.
So we hope you're taking something away from this. Don't try to logic out your partner when they're emotional. It only makes it worse. Even if the person is logical, if they're in that emotional state, first feel the feeling, let the feeling move, then have a deeper conversation. And really just have fun with it. It's emotions and the quick changes we can make in our emotions are really funny. It really is. Like the capacity that we have to go from happy to pissed in a second, or pissed to happy in a second. So have fun with it. Do things, create an agreement. Hey, when one of us is upset, let's like turn on music and jump up and dance. Come up with some sort of
You're
fun
gonna
agreement.
fight it. Let me tell you.
You will.
Make an agreement. One is going to fight it. Your body's not going to want to do that. I promise you. We have had sort of that agreement, and then I'll tell Jocelyn, let's jump up and down and dance, and she's like, I don't want to.
So it takes practice, and okay, I'll be like, all right, a minute, and sometimes I need to go walk first. You know, so find out what you need, and it might be different every moment. But
I'm not going to allow that anymore.
All right.
We're changing it like this.
He's holding me into it. All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed the day. We have more 30 Days of Conscious Partnership coming up. Please like our page. Stay connected in some way. Find us on your favorite social media platform. We are here for you. Partnerships are going to be thriving all over the world on our watch, because that's what they're capable of. Our watch. We love you all. Bye.